take a deep breath and feel it. There is a stillness moving across the earth. It's not silence, no, it's something deeper. It is the whisper of awakening, echoing through the soul of humanity. We are living in extraordinary times. Times where light breaks through the cracks of old systems, where truth no longer hides behind veils, where the sacred is no longer confined to altars, but breathes in our very essence. You, listening now, are not here by accident. You feel it, don't you? That strange pull, that quiet voice within you that says, there is more. There has always been more. This message comes not from a place of hierarchy or authority, but from a place of remembrance. I am Tia, of the Arcturian Council of 5, and what I share with you is not doctrine. It is not dogma. It is a return to who you truly are, a call to dissolve what was never real, to reclaim your divinity, not as something earned, but as something that has always lived within you. There is a wave of consciousness flooding this planet, not of fear, not of control, but of love. A love so ancient and pure, it does not ask for worship. It recognizes that you already are divine. This is not the end of something. This is the beginning of something we were always meant to remember. And we begin, not by looking outward, but inward. Let us begin. This wave, this light, it is not coming to the earth as something foreign. It is being awakened from within. What many call Christ consciousness is not a religion. It is not a name. It is not an image painted on stained glass windows. It is a frequency, a remembrance, a sacred pulse that was always buried inside the human heart, waiting for this very moment. After what you know as Easter, a powerful current of Christ light began sweeping across the earth's energetic field. But this light isn't coming from above. It's rising from within each one of you. It is responding to your willingness, to your inner yes. And when this light touches you, you feel it. Not always with clarity, sometimes as tears, sometimes as restlessness, sometimes as a deep desire to change everything, even if you don't yet know how. That is the Christ light. It does not come to impose. It comes to liberate. It comes to cleanse. And it will illuminate everything that is not in harmony with truth. And yes, this can feel intense, because it means releasing what was never truly you. Old beliefs, old emotional armor, old ideas of separation, guilt, shame. They are surfacing now, not to punish you, but to free you. Because the light does not hide. The light reveals. And in that revelation, you will begin to recognize what you've always carried within. An unshakable divine essence, untouched by fear, untouched by dogma, eternal. As this light rises, as the Christ frequency flows through your body, your mind, your memory, something begins to break apart. Not violently, not with noise, but silently. Like ancient walls quietly crumbling under the pressure of truth. What is dissolving now are not just ideas. They are entire systems, entire architectures of belief that were built to hold humanity in separation, in obedience, in fear, in guilt. Religious control has long operated not from divine love, but from the illusion of distance. Distance between human and divine, distance between the soul and the source. Distance that was never real, but deeply felt. Structures that told you must earn your worth, you must be forgiven, you are not yet enough, are now trembling. Not because they were attacked, but because the light within you no longer resonates with their foundation. You are no longer holding up their walls, and without your energy, they cannot stand. This is not destruction, it is liberation. And yet liberation can feel like loss. You may grieve. You may resist. You may wonder, if not this, then what is true? And that is where the journey inward begins. Not toward another belief, but toward direct connection, toward unity, toward the realization that the divine was never outside of you. In the space that opens as old systems fall, what remains? What stands when the scaffolding of control collapses? Love. Not love as sentiment, not love as performance, but the kind of love that remembers, the kind of love that doesn't ask, "Who do you worship?" but rather whispers, "Do you remember who you are?" This is the love that liberates. It doesn't confine you. It doesn't shame you. It doesn't demand rituals or prove your loyalty through suffering. It simply holds you, exactly as you are. It tells you that holiness is not a place you travel to, but a place you return to, within. For ages, institutions tried to define love, tried to sell it, control it, condition it. But love, true love, cannot be tamed, because it is the source itself. It is not a reward. It is your origin. And it is this love that is now rising in you, not to change you, but to reveal you, to remind you that you are not a sinner reaching for grace. You are grace remembering itself. You were never lost, only asleep. And now, you are waking up. If there is one truth that remains when all else falls away, it is this: we are one. This is not philosophy. This is not a metaphor to soothe the mind. It is a vibration, a memory etched in your soul. The idea of separation was never real. It was an experience, a lesson, a temporary dream allowed so that you could rediscover the joy of remembering who you truly are, and who we are, together. You are not just a fragment of consciousness walking alone through time. You are a strand of light, connected to all life, to the stars, to the trees, to every face you pass in the street, to every soul you've ever loved, and even those you thought you could never forgive. This is why the old systems of control are breaking, because they were built on the illusion of separation. Me versus you, right versus wrong, saved versus lost, divine versus human. But how can anything be truly divided when everything was birthed from the same sacred breath? When you begin to live as if everything around you is you, you step into the realm of true awareness, true compassion, true power. And suddenly, love is no longer a feeling. It becomes your nature. It becomes your sight. It becomes your language. In this great awakening, no one is left behind. No soul is forgotten. Because every being on this earth has a sacred role to play. Some came to anchor light. Some came to challenge systems. Some came to heal bloodlines. Some came to simply be, and through their presence, soften the collective field. There is no hierarchy of purpose here. There is no greater mission and smaller mission. All roles are essential. All expressions are divine. You might feel like your light is not visible, that you're not speaking to thousands or moving nations. But sometimes the greatest transformation begins with a single act of kindness, a single breath of compassion, a single moment of presence where there was once chaos. This is not a time to compare your journey. This is a time to remember your essence. The Arcturian Council, and many beings who walk with you unseen, remind you, you did not come here by accident. You are not insignificant. You are not late. You arrived precisely when you were meant to, and what you carry within, your light, your wisdom, your love, is not just for you. It is a gift meant to be shared in every smile, in every word, in every silent prayer offered to a world in transition. As the veils thin, as the frequencies rise, a new form of connection with the divine begins to emerge. Not through intermediaries, not through fear, not through obligation, but through direct remembrance. The old ways taught that God was outside of you, somewhere distant, somewhere unreachable to be pleased or feared. But now, something within you knows. The divine lives here, within, now. You don't need robes or titles. You don't need to recite ancient languages to be heard. You don't need to beg or prove your worth. Your breath is your prayer. Your presence is your altar. Your kindness is your sacred song. And the silence within your being, That is the space where Source speaks loudest. This shift is not a rejection of the sacred. It is a return to it, in its purest form. Without walls, without dogma, without division. The divine no longer calls you to worship blindly, but to co-create consciously, to walk with spirit, not beneath it, to speak with the cosmos, not to it, to embody divinity, not chase it. And as you begin to live in this knowing, you feel the difference. The sacred becomes simple, the ordinary becomes holy, and your life, your real, imperfect, beautiful life, becomes the temple. You may feel it in your bones, in your dreams, in the quiet discomfort of the familiar. The old is unraveling. Structures that once seemed eternal are now crumbling, not because of destruction, but because they no longer resonate with truth. The systems that taught fear as obedience, control as order, and separation as salvation are losing their grip. This is not a punishment. This is an awakening. We are not here to fight the old. We are here to outgrow it, to release it with love, to bless it for the lessons it brought, and to move on. You see, the old paradigms were never meant to last forever. They were scaffolding. They were training wheels for a consciousness that had forgotten its wings. But now the wings are returning. People are beginning to question, not with anger, but with clarity. They're remembering that power is not something granted from above, but something awakened within. You were not born to kneel forever. You were born to rise, to walk as a sovereign being, connected to all things, but enslaved by none. And so the systems fall, not because you reject them violently, but because you no longer need them. Because the light in you has grown stronger than the fear that built them. We are entering a time when being the light is no longer just a personal practice. It is a revolutionary act. The world has often equated activism with noise, with protests, with visible rebellion. But there is another kind of movement taking place. Subtle, silent, and just as powerful. It happens in the unseen. It begins in the heart, and it spreads through frequency. To hold peace in a chaotic world is not passivity. It is sacred resistance. To choose compassion when others choose blame, to embody kindness in a room full of fear, to believe in the unity of all beings when the world shouts division. This is spiritual activism. You don't need a stage to shine. You don't need approval to radiate. You don't need permission to become the beacon you were born to be. In truth, this light you carry is your greatest contribution to the collective transformation, not because it changes others directly, but because it reminds them of who they are, simply by the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you love. Every vibration you emit affects the field. Every moment you choose presence over panic, compassion over criticism, stillness over control. You shift the world a little more. And this is not small. This is holy work. A new earth is not a place we wait for. It is not a date on the calendar. It is not the outcome of elections or events. A new earth is something we build, from the inside out. Every time you choose love over fear, you lay a brick in the foundation of this new reality. Every time you hold space for someone's pain without judgment, you plant seeds in the soil of the future. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You only need to show up, authentic, open, awake. Because this new earth is not being created by systems. It's being created by hearts that are tired of pretending, by souls that remember why they came, by beings like you, who choose light even when it's hard, who choose unity even when division is easier. You are not just witnessing the birth of a new earth. You are midwifing it, with your voice, with your frequency, with your courage to live differently. And so now, let this be the moment you say yes, not to another doctrine, not to another savior, but to your own divine presence, to your path, to your soul's knowing, to the role you came here to fulfill. If these words stirred something ancient in you, if you feel the pulse of a greater truth awakening inside, then don't let it stay within. Share this message. Speak your light. Live your truth. Be the mirror that helps others remember. Because the new Earth is not waiting. It is becoming through you.